Welcome into the Alabama Football Report. I am your host, Chris Daughtery. It is officially Overreaction Sunday. We have a good time on these Overreaction Sundays, guys, because you can take everything kind of, with a grain of salt. I'm going to be speaking a little bit more, hyperbolic when it comes to some of these takes. They're going to be a little bit over the top, but that is the whole point of Overreaction Sunday. But first, before we get into my takeaways and my overreactions, did you like the win last night, 63-0? I don't think there's really anything that you can complain about. A couple of things, we'll talk about on the show today as well. But if you liked that win last night for the Crimson Tide, go ahead and like today's video for me right now. My first overreaction of the day. I think this is one of the bigger ones. Ryan Williams is your best wide receiver right now. And from what he did last night, I don't really think you can, really say otherwise. He led you in receiving yards, had two massive touchdown catches. I think one was 84 yards. I think the other one was 55 yards. That math adds up correctly. 139 yards total, man. Two touchdowns. Ryan Williams, they were able to kind of still keep him a little bit under the radar. Like I said, only had those two catches. But, man, dude, the future is so exciting for what you have at wide receiver, especially with some of those other guys as well. Jeremy Bernard and, Kobe Prentice, some of those guys didn't really, get a lot of opportunities. And Ryan Williams didn't get a lot of opportunities either, but he was able to make the most with what he had. I mean, I think that first 85-yard touchdown was on like a 3rd and 15. So it was a really big play. I think it was a busted coverage, but man, you cannot have a guy like Ryan Williams running down the field wide open. No matter, who you are, the other team, he's gonna find the end zone at the end of the day. So Ryan Williams, an incredible day on Saturday or evening for him. Man, right now, he's looking like he's gonna be your wide receiver one. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Will Ryan Williams lead the Crimson Tide in receiving for the entirety of the season? For right now, he is your leading wide receiver in terms of receiving yards and I guess touchdowns as well, too. So let me know at the pinned comment of today's video. Do you think Ryan Williams will be your leading wide receiver in 2024? Type Y for yes or N for no in the comments section. My next overreaction was I'm still a little bit worried about the offensive line. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm going to nitpick it here a little bit. Still, some bad snaps. And, some of those, one of the bad snaps ended up being a fumble. He just snapped it over Jalen Milroe's head. It wasn't really anything. There wasn't a miscommunication issue. He was ready for the snap. It was just way the hell up here, and he was way too fast and it went right by him. And that ended up being a fumble for Jalen Milroe, unfortunately, even though it wasn't really his fault. Now, the other one, I do think it was bad timing. Jalen Milroe ended up bobbling it, and I think that was on 3rd down as well. He was trying to hand it off and just ended up taking it himself up the middle for a gain of like nothing. So, that for right now worries me a little bit, but I do have a lot of confidence in Parker Brailsford to, get that together at the end of the day. Kadyn Proctor goes out with an injury before the game even starts last night. You thought he was going to come in and be your starting left tackle for you. Ends up Elijah Pritchett has to play over there at that left tackle spot. And I'll be honest, man, early in the game, Elijah Pritchett looked terrible. He looked absolutely terrible in that first quarter. I was ready to bench him. I was ready to put Miles McVay in there. But, he was able to kind of get it together the rest of the game. And for the most part, the last 3, 2.5 quarters maybe, I think Elijah Pritchett did a whole lot better at left tackle. Thought Wilkin Formby looked really, really good at right tackle, though. So, that is a little bit of positivity there for the offensive line. And then, you still had some penalties on the offensive line too that just little things like that need to be worked out. Tyler Booker got a penalty. And what was crazy too was the first play of the game, I think it was, that Alabama had the ball. you had two offensive linemen, Tyler Booker and the other one, I think it was Parker Brailsford, both had their helmets taken off. And so that was one of those things that Alabama had to adjust for. They only had to come out for one play, but it's still something that, it's the first play of, the season when you're on offense. If those kind of things happen, man, it's just a whole lot of things. You're down to 3 linemen that are not starting offensive linemen for you. If you want to say Elijah Pritchett's not a starter yet, which I do think Wilkin Formby is the leader so far right there at the right tackle spot. But, I think there were things on the offensive line. I thought they could have been a little bit more consistent on those 3rd and short plays. I've been saying it for a while now. I don't think Alabama has been consistent as they can be in those 3rd and short opportunities. And it's going to come down to the offensive line. If you guys are going to talk like you're going to big boy guys and dirt nat people, I want to see that. We haven't really seen it quite yet. Make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Alabama Football Report. We wrapped up our first watch party of the season last night, and it was so much fun. I mean, I had a very, very fun time, hanging out with you guys and chopping it up in the comment section. So if you haven't already, make sure you guys are subscribed right here. That's youtube.com/@RollTideTV. Look, another overreaction could be an overstatement, but I thought your defense played absolutely incredible. Western Kentucky is a team who, at the end of the day, they like to push the ball downfield, and it's not like they didn't try to do that. Look, in the first half, Keon Sabb gets 2 interceptions, and, that first one was really big because it happened as they were getting into the red zone as well. It ended up, you got TJ Finley benched in the first half, and not because he was really playing terrible. It's just because he's going to be their starting quarterback all season long. They don't want him to get hurt against a team like Alabama. So, I mean, I guess so much for that. Maybe they're not who they think they are, quote, that he had. Whether that was yesterday or the day before, I'm not real sure. But TJ Finley did say that, and I think Alabama's defense really took note of that. I thought your DBs looked great, down to the freshmen, down to Malachi Moore, Keon Sabb, all those guys looked really good. I thought Zabian Brown really stepped up. He's ended up true freshman starting at that cornerback spot. I'm sure there's some things when you go back and look at the film that you can really nitpick on, but I thought he looked really, really good as well. Didn't even talk about Damani Jackson during the game, so that's got to be a positive for him. The defensive line looked incredible. You had guys running all over the field. I think Jaheim Otis is just on another level this year than, previous years, what he has been for Alabama. He's, looking as healthy as ever, so that is a very, very positive thing for, him and this defensive line. Those linebackers really looked good, too. You had, different situations when you had 3 linebackers on the field, too. Justin Jefferson got a lot of playing time. And I do want to give some love to Quandarius Robinson. Got the first sack of the season for Alabama. And he was able, when he was in the game, to create a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So somebody who I thought maybe could have been in a position battle with Keanu Coate. For right now, I think Quandarius Robinson has that Wolf position pretty much locked up. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor today. That is Factor Meals. Look, guys, we're here late at the office all the time now that football season has kicked off. That's why I use Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals thanks to menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you will always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. Make today the day you kickstart a new healthy routine. What are you guys waiting for? Make your day delicious from breakfast to dessert. Stay fueled with easy, nutritious options from Factor Meals. Treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon as well. Head to factormeals.com/BamaChat50 and use promo code BamaChat50 to get 50% off your first month's order. That's Bama, or that's code BamaChat50 at factormeals.com/BamaChat50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. That link will be in the comments section and the description of today's video. Guys, I use Factor all the time. You guys should too. The next guy I want to talk about, Justice Haynes. He might be your running back one this year. And that's not any knock on anything that Jam Miller did in this game. But Justice Haynes just has another gear that, man, I've been talking about for a long time. And I think you guys, all know that as well. But going back to that Rose Bowl game just one more time. I'll say it one more time and then I won't bring it up again. Justice Haynes was put in that Rose Bowl game against Michigan. He was making plays. He was moving the chains for you. And then Tommy Rees took him out of the game for absolutely no reason. Justice Haynes is your running back one this season. What he did last night against Western Kentucky was just absolutely incredible. And I think it's going to continue. I understand it's Western Kentucky, and we're going to say that, yada, yada, yada. But Justice Haynes is going to do this against a lot of teams. It's not just these crap teams like Western Kentucky. I also thought, just while we're talking about the running game in general, Jalen Milroe also had some opportunities on the ground, and it wasn't just in scrambling opportunities either. It was called, designed quarterback runs, and that's what I asked for at the end of the day. I wanted Jalen Milroe to run the ball. I said, I'm pretty sure a couple weeks ago, 6 to 8 times a game. Well, he gets 10 carries, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns against Western Kentucky last night. And Jam Miller, man, still over 10 yards per carry. That's nothing to scoff at either. Jam Miller is absolutely incredible as well. It is Overreaction Sunday, so I'm putting Justice Haynes as running back one right now. But, man, I really love what Jam Miller, Jalen Milroe, Justice Haynes, and even those freshman guys that got in the game at the end of the game, they ran out the clock for you. And that's, a very, very, positive thing I think that we can take away from yesterday's game. I think the biggest overreaction of all that I'm going to just go into for a second here, Alabama's really got a chance to go undefeated, I think. I think their schedule is, not an easy schedule whatsoever, but with the talent that you have on this team, I think you can take what you did last night, go back into the film room, look at everything. You had some stupid mistakes in the first half. You had a lot of penalties. I think you had 7 penalties in the game, and I think 6 of those were in the first half of the game. Yeah, you had 7 penalties for 59 yards. That's just not going to cut it at the end of the day. But you put up 600 total yards on offense last night, and that was with the quarterbacks throwing a total of 18 times. Alabama didn't really have to go into their playbook. They've got a whole lot more, to offer when it comes to, different things that you can do with different guys. Like Kendrick Law really didn't get an opportunity to, go crazy at all last night. Kendrick Law had 1 reception for 22 yards. So, Alabama only threw the ball 12 times, and you get the kind of results that you're getting right now. If we can get on a roll, you got some tough games. You go to LSU, you go to Tennessee, you go to Oklahoma, you go to Wisconsin. But, man, those all seem like very, very winnable games right now early in the season. And I'll tell you what, too, Georgia did not look very good against Clemson. And they didn't have Etienne at running back. He was suspended for that first game, but they definitely look like a team that is not invincible for, any shape of the imagination. So I do think there is a very good chance that Alabama could go undefeated this season, and I'm going to link that all the way home. I got a lot of people here at the Chat Sports offices thinking Alabama's going to lose 4 or 5 games. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Now, going undefeated, that is Overreaction Sunday for you. So, like I said, take that with a grain of salt. But, man, I think after what we saw last night, there's just no reason to not be excited for the Kalen DeBoer era.